Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace, mercy, and blessings of God be upon you. This is the 13th episode in the Making Sense series. It is a new presentation from www.central-mosque.com and from the Humble Heart YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be talking to my non-Muslim friends as to why Palestine is important to me as a Muslim who's not an Arab, does not have Middle Eastern ancestry, and Arabic is not my native tongue. This presentation can be downloaded. Link is in the description. Before we talk about the issue of Palestine, let me give you certain facts. When it comes to Islam, Muslims believe in one God who sent the same universal message through messengers throughout the ages. In other words, the message did not change because it came from the same one God. It categorically states in the Quran, chapter 112, verse number 1, say, He is Allah who is one. By extension, Muslims believe in all of the prophets without discrimination. They were deputed to different people at different times throughout history. The Quran states, chapter 2, verse number 136, say, O believers, we have believed in Allah and what has been revealed to us and what has been revealed to Abraham and Ishmael and Isaac and Jacob and the descendants, and what was given to Moses and Jesus and what was given to the prophets from their Lord. We make no distinction between any of them, and we are Muslims in submission to Him. Peace and blessings be upon all of them. So as a Muslim, Jesus, peace be upon him, is as sanctified to me as a prophet, as Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. My belief is not complete until I believe in Abraham, Jesus, Moses, and all of the prophets. Peace and blessings be upon all of them. Likewise, as a Muslim, I believe in all of the books which God sent to the prophets. The Quran states, chapter 5, verse number 46, and we sent, following in their footsteps, Jesus, the son of Mary, confirming that which came before him in the Torah, and we gave him the gospel, in which was guidance and light, and confirming that which preceded it of the Torah as guidance and instructions for the righteous. I believe in the original Bible being a book of God, as I believe in the Quran being a book of God. The Bible has changed. Which bits are original and which bits have changed is not known. But my belief in the original Bible is that it is a revelation of God. 2015 Pew Research states that there are 1.8 billion Muslims in the world, which are roughly 25% or a quarter of the world population today. Pew Research also states that Islam is the fastest growing religion of the world, but only 20% of the Muslims live in the Middle East or the North African region. Over 43% of Muslims live in just 4 countries of Indonesia, Pakistan, India, and Bangladesh, which are all non-Arabic speaking nations outside of the Middle East. Over 30% of Muslims live in just 3 countries of Pakistan, India, and Bangladesh. The world media portrays the Palestinian issue as an Arab or Middle Eastern problem, but it is an issue that is pertinent to Muslims. Now, let me talk about some fundamental human rights principles in Islam. There's no compulsion of religion in Islam. A person is free to follow a belief of their choice. The Quran states, chapter 2, verse number 256, there shall be no compulsions in accordance of the religion. Secondly, the safety and sanctity of all religious places is guaranteed in Islam. Again, the Quran states, chapter 22, verse number 40, they are those who have been evicted from their homes without right, not only because they say our Lord is Allah, and were it not that Allah checks the people, some by means of others, there would have been demolished monasteries, churches, synagogues, and mosques in which the name of Allah is much mentioned, i.e. praised. And Allah will surely support those who support Him, i.e. His cause. Indeed, Allah is powerful and exalted in might. In this verse, notice that monasteries, churches, and synagogues are mentioned before mosques. By the way, the safety and sanctity of religious places extends to all religions and not just those mentioned in this specific verse. The sanctity of human life is also guaranteed in Islam. The Quran states, chapter 5, verse number 32, and do not kill the soul which Allah has forbidden to be killed except by legal right. And lastly, the Muslims are commanded to uphold justice even when it goes against themselves or their kith and kin. The Quran states, chapter 4, verse number 135, O you who have believed, be persistently standing firm in justice, witnesses for Allah, even it be against yourself or parents and relatives, whether one is rich or poor. Allah is more worthy of both. So follow not personal inclination, lest you not be just. And if you distort your testimony or refuse to give it, then indeed Allah is ever of what you do aware. Now let's turn to the topic of Palestine. Prophet Abraham, peace and blessings be upon him, built Kaaba, which is the cube-like structure which you must have seen in pictures and videos. 40 years later, he also built a place of worship in Palestine and he called it Betayel. Subsequent prophets and later generations of Abraham, such as Isaac, Jacob, Joseph, and others, peace be upon all of them, continued to pray in Palestine at this place of worship. Then David and afterwards his son Solomon, peace be on both of them, established their kingdom in the area. We also had Moses associated with Palestine. As a Muslim, I believe in all of these prophets. So Palestine and this particular place of worship is sanctified to me. When viewed from Makkah, this place of worship in Palestine is far away. Hence in Arabic it is called Masjid al-Aqsa or the farthest mosque. Before the advent of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, this area's Palestine was under the conquest of Byzantine Emperor Heraclius. The local Jewish population, with the assistance of Persians, revolted against him. The Jewish people committed atrocities to the local Christians from 614 to 618 AD, killing many and burning down churches. Far away in Mecca, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, received revelation, but Muslims initially faced the direction of Jerusalem instead of Mecca, or the holy mosque of Muslims, for their prayers. In 621 AD, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was taken on a miraculous night journey by God from his home to the Kaaba, which Muslims face today, which is to Jerusalem, and from there lifted up to the heavens. Thus, the position of Jerusalem was reaffirmed by God to Muslims. In 629, Heraclius recaptured Jerusalem and repositioned the true cross in Jerusalem, but the Christians, remembering the genocide committed against them by the Jews, forced him to exile the Jews from Palestine. Access of the Jews was restricted by the Christians to their Jewish holy places until their rights were restored by Muslims later on. The Quran sanctified not only the place of worship built by Abraham, peace be upon him, i.e. the Mosque of Al-Aqsa or the farthest mosque, but also its entire surroundings until perpetuity as stated in the Quran, chapter 17, verse number 1. Exalted is he who took his servant, i.e. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, by night from Al-Masjid al-Haram, which the Muslims face the direction today, to Masjid al-Aqsa in Jerusalem, whose surroundings we have blessed to show him of our signs. Indeed, he is the hearing and seeing. The Byzantine Emperor Heraclius decided to attack the emerging Muslim empire and was decidedly defeated in 636 at Yarmouk, present-day Iraq. The Muslims, after defeating Heraclius, pushed further into Byzantine lands until they reached Jerusalem. The Muslims, with overwhelming military force, laid siege to Jerusalem but refused to enter or capture by force and camped outside the city. The second Caliph of Islam, Umar, peace be upon him, explicitly forbade attacking or taking Jerusalem by force and decided to travel from Medina all the way to Jerusalem to negotiate a peace treaty. This was the only time he traveled outside of Medina to personally negotiate and sign a peace treaty, and he did this due to religious significance of Jerusalem to Muslims. So, the Christians allowed Umar, may God be pleased with him, to enter Jerusalem. The Greek Orthodox Patriarch Sophronius personally handed the keys of the city, the Church of Holy Sepulchre, and requested Umar to pray inside the church. Umar, may God be pleased with him, recognizes the sanctity of the church to Christians, physically stepped outside the church and prayed. He then signed a pledge in 637 AD, which has been honored and respected and prominently displayed in Jerusalem by Muslims and Christians alike to this day. The pledge guaranteed safety to Christians, their churches, and their rituals. The keys to the Holy Church's Sepulchre are still kept by Muslims who ceremoniously open the church for Christians to worship, including on significant Christian religious occasions such as Easter. The Mosque of Al-Aqsa, or the Farthest Mosque, was built by Abraham, peace and blessings be upon him, which you see on the left. The gold dome on the right is a structure which was built by a later Muslim ruler, marking the spot where Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, ascended to the heavens. The entire confines and the surroundings are sanctified for Muslims. Christians or Jews were free to worship and practice their religion in the region under the Muslim rule from 637 AD until the collapse of the Ottoman Empire, when this area was lost to the British. Even after the Crusades, the Muslim ruler Saladin did not retaliate against the Christians or the Jews, despite horrendous atrocities committed against the local Muslim population. The Crusades and the atrocities against Muslims, as well as the contrasting behavior of Saladin, is well documented. On the 2nd of November 1917, Arthur James Balfour, the Foreign Secretary of UK, wrote a letter to Lionel Walter Rothschild, who was a prominent Zionist leader, pledging Palestine to be the homeland for the Jews. This letter is the basis of the Balfour Declaration. 90% of the population of Palestine was Arab, 10% population was Jewish. The British decided to set in motion a land grab which haunts us to this day, against the will of both the Muslim and the Christian population of Jerusalem. President Woodrow Wilson initiated the King Crane Commission, which reported that 90% of the local population was against the British unilateral usurping of Palestinian land. On your screen, you see images from the newspapers of the time clearly highlighting the local opposition to the British decision. The land grab set in motion by the British was adopted by Israel on an industrial scale. Take a look at the usurping of Palestinian lands by Israel in this graphic on your screen from 1946 until today. There are literally hundreds of United Nations resolutions against Israel. President Donald Trump decided to unilaterally accept Jerusalem as the capital of Israel, which is starkly against the UN Resolution 2253 presented by Pakistan on the 4th of July 1967 and adopted with 90 votes in favor and none against. This declaration of Donald Trump is illegal according to international law, but America continues to protect Israel and veto or abstain from UN resolutions steadfastly. Even in December 2016, the UN declared Israeli settlements upon Palestinian lands illegal under Resolution 2334, and as usual, America abstained. Israel continues to openly commit war crimes and genocide in plain view of the world, not only to Palestinians but to citizens of the world. On the 16th of March 2003, Rachel Corrie was crushed to death by an Israeli bulldozer while trying to protect an unarmed Palestinian family. The Israeli Defense Force bulldozer willfully and purposely crushed Rachel, an American citizen, in plain sight with no accountability or legal repercussions of any kind for the state of Israel. America has never held a public inquiry or demanded one from Israel for the killing of its own citizen. You can just imagine what Israel does to Palestinians if killing an American citizen has no repercussions for Israel whatsoever. Driving through Jerusalem, entire sections of Arab population are segregated and enclosed behind structures like this, making it impossible for them to reach hospitals or even the ambulances to respond. The apartheid of local Palestinian population is done in plain sight and covered by world media extensively. Yet the world media portrays it as a two-way conflict. In reality, it is brutal oppression and suppression by a well-armed military machine against unarmed civilians who are the original inhabitants of the land. That is why Palestine matters to me, despite not being an Arab, nor of Middle Eastern origin or speaking Arabic. What is happening to Palestinians matters to me as a human. So now you know the history. It isn't enough for all of us to sit back. We need to do something to try to stop the mighty Israeli war machine from grabbing land, torturing and killing unarmed civilians, including women and children. So what can you do? First of all, stop spamming people and forwarding every message on Palestine will hit your inbox, WhatsApp, or Telegram. Be sharp, be laser focused. You need to become part of something bigger to amplify your voice and assist those who are already involved in the cause. In the UK, you can get involved with Friends of Al Aqsa, and their website is www.foa.org.uk. Go to the website, follow them on their social media accounts, and help them amplify their voice. Next, you can also get involved with Palestine Solidarity Campaign, and their website is www.palestinecampaign.org. If there are protests and events in your area or even beyond, help them achieve success. You need to get involved with the BDS movement to actually hurt businesses and interests who actively or passively support the genocide of Palestinian people. Don't send out outdated boycott messages. Check their website at www.bdsmovement.net. And the 5 steps which you see on the screen and also on their website make a lot of sense. Lastly, every brother and sister is opening petitions on the issue of Israel or Palestine. Stop forwarding and asking people to sign every single petition. Soon, people will burn out and they will sign no petition. Instead, monitor and request people to sign petitions which actually have a chance of making an impact, such as the petition to introduce sanctions against Israel, which has already passed a threshold and will be debated in the British Parliament. The next one is call for the UK government to formally recognize the state of Palestine. Throw your support behind petitions which have broad nationwide support. Be smart. Together, we can and we will make a difference. Jazakallahu khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.